Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is David Silberman, and this is our webinar on the 3 secrets to landing a job in clinical research. Hi, Jeannie. I can see Jeannie Farnsworth joined us, one of our panelists. Welcome,
Hi.
Jeannie. Okay, and then we're also going to welcome Lauren Belina Chang. Lauren, are you with us? There's Lauren.
Hi there, everyone.
Welcome, Lauren. Looks like we have people joining our webinar right now. Once again, my name is David Silberman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Clinical Research Fastrack. I want to welcome you all to our webinar today. And the title of it is The 3 Secrets to Landing Your Dream Job in Clinical Research. So it's just a couple minutes until we get started. Jeannie, why don't you tell everyone where you are right now?
So my boss allows us to work from home a few days a week. And so right now I'm at home in Tempe, Arizona, but our headquarters is in Scottsdale, Arizona.
All right, how's the weather in Arizona? Is it warm this time of year?
It's perfect. You're not dying of heat. It's just perfect. It cools down a little bit. It's our favorite time of the year because our family actually likes to go golfing. So it's the best time for us.
Excellent. All right, welcome, Jeannie. And we have Lauren Belina Chang. Lauren, you are all the way on the other side of the country. Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself real quickly? We're just about to get started, but you're in Atlanta?
Absolutely. I am here in Atlanta. It is not bright and sunny outside. It looks like it's going to rain here any second, but that doesn't stop the research industry from booming over here on this side of the country.
Excellent, excellent. And for all of you who are joining us, I want to welcome you all. This is we want to make this as an interactive session. We have Jeannie Farnsworth, Lauren Belina Chang. They're both directors at Clinical Research Fastrack. Jeannie has 18 years of experience in the clinical research industry. She's run clinical trial facilities in Utah and Arizona, around the country. And now she's the Director of Outreach and Engagement at Clinical Research Fastrack. She also has a master's in clinical research, which she received from Harvard University. And she is probably one of the more experienced clinical researchers in the country. And then we have Lauren Belina Chang, who has been with Clinical Research Fastrack from the beginning. Lauren is now living in Atlanta, Georgia. Lauren has 10 plus years of experience in clinical research. She's worked on trials in North Carolina. She worked at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona in their cancer research department, and now is running programs for Clinical Research Fastrack. Welcome, Lauren. And then we want to welcome all of our guests. I want you all to look at your functionality on your webinar. You can actually raise your hand. So if you can hear me okay, raise your hand and I can see some of you are raising your hand. That's great. It looks like we have a small group today, which is wonderful because we can get a little more interaction from that group. So before we dive into it, I would love to ask you all a question just about who you are. I'm wondering, is this the first time you're meeting us and talking to us, or have you been in contact with our advisors in the past? So I'm just going to send out a quick poll to you all, and I'm wondering how many of you have spoken with one of our advisors, or maybe this is the first time you're learning about our organization and Clinical Research Fastrack. And the poll is going out right now, and it looks like most of you have spoken to one of us before, and that's great to know. So what we're going to try to do is cover some new information for all of you. So why don't we get started? And what I would like to do just to get started is I'm going to share my screen with you all, and we have hopefully you can all see my screen. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 secrets to landing your dream job in clinical research. And I know it can be frustrating for a lot of people out there. So we've got Jeannie and Lauren to help us out. And just to kick things off, what are those 3 secrets? We've narrowed it down to passion, practice, and people. And Lauren, what are we talking about? When we say passion, what do we mean?
Oh, that is absolutely a must for getting into this field. This is, what is your why? What's going to keep you motivated in this field? And we all have something that keeps us going. And I'm sure each and every one of you have something that is driving your desire to want to work in healthcare or perhaps continue working in healthcare. So we are talking about a passion for improving the future of medicine, for helping those who don't have treatment options now, or at least good treatment options now.
Wow, great. And Jeannie, did you want to add anything to that about passion of getting into this field? We know it takes commitment and persistence. There's so many people that are trying to get into clinical research, but there's also 70,000 plus open positions. What's going on there? What are they doing wrong? And where is that passion going to help them out?
So the passion really speaks well to, we are looking for people who are not just going to show up to do a job, but to show up and have a rewarding career that will allow them to help people. And so I like to say that I'm not looking to inspire people who are already inspired. I'm looking to help them elevate their career to do a really great thing, whether it's coming up with approvals and helping in that process for new drugs and treatments, and it's improving people's quality of life.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so just to emphasize one more time, there are 70,000 open positions in the field of clinical research right now. And it's really hard to break into the field. There's so many jobs, the field is hiring. And this is a graph that I want to share with you all. It shows that exponential growth in the field of clinical research. But what we're seeing is a lot of people are applying to jobs and they're not getting the interview, and they're not. And we say that the key to getting in the door is practice. So what do we mean by that, practice? What is that key, Lauren, when we talk about practice?
Yeah, you absolutely have to practice before you play in this industry, right? You wouldn't want to go to your doctor and say, hey, where'd you do residency? And they say, oh, what's residency? Why would I need to learn how to learn these skills to actually succeed in this field? No, that's fine. Let's just operate, right? So we are doing very important work in this field, and we need to practice before we play. And really, to get those positions that are open right now, when you move into an interview and you're sitting across from that interviewer and they ask you, walk me through the informed consent process and how you would document that according to Alcoa C. Oh my gosh, that's a big question. Or they sit there and they ask, okay, how could you identify an SAE and who needs to know about that and when? Oh, I don't know. This is a lot of information we need to know to do these jobs effectively. And that's what happens in our classroom is we practice before we play. So when you move into those job interviews, you can sit there and confidently walk your interviewer through these various scenarios. You can do it confidently, and you can do it with passion, and you can do it using the jargon, the buzzwords, the lingo. You can speak research.
That's so interesting. So you're saying practice, practice, practice. So Jeannie, can you elaborate? Can anyone get into this field, or do you have to be a nurse or a doctor to get into clinical research?
Oh, you don't have to. I feel like, yes, nurses and doctors are great, but they typically will oversee in a clinical trial. I think that's what's so exciting about this field, because I know so many people, they just don't have time to go to nursing school or medical school. So this is a great way to be in a very niche sector of the healthcare market. And to kind of add on to what Lauren was just talking about, practice, practice, practice in the classroom, make your mistakes, own those mistakes, and then we send you to internship. That's the beauty of our program. You have online learning, you have in classroom, but you have this internship where you're going to be on site and you get to actually implement and see how it actually works out. So I think the practice into play takes place in internship, and that's so key and vital to our program.
That's so interesting. And so really you can come from any background before you get into clinical research. I'm just curious, I would like to know from all of you in the audience, what field are you working in now? And I'm going to launch a poll. It says, what's your current background? And if you could just pick from one of this group. So I know many people are already in healthcare. They might be in science. They might be in clinical research already, or psychology, or just something completely, totally different. Some of you are in business. So if you can just take a minute to answer this poll, I'm curious just to see where you are all coming from. It looks like about 42% are coming from other fields. They're not in science or healthcare. So Lauren, if you're not in science or healthcare, is that okay? Can you still get into this field?
Yeah, absolutely. That really goes back to that passion point. If you have a passion for helping people and you want to work in healthcare, you can absolutely be in this field. We can give you the skills that you need to make that transition. And we've trained students with a background in IT and in finance and business and other such categories. So you need the passion, and we can, teach you the skills. I love that quote. What is that quote that says, you can teach skills, but you can't teach passion, right? So if you come in with a baseline passion, we can complement that and give you some skills.
Excellent, excellent. And I mentioned earlier, there's 70,000 open positions. This chart shows all the clinical trials that are going on around the country. There's over 115,000 registered trials. And what's interesting about this, Jeannie, is that just a year ago, there was only, I think, 100,000. Now there's 115. That's over 1,000 new trials being registered a year. And we just don't have enough people to really work in the field. And that's why right now what we're trying to do is get more people trained in the industry. So I wanted to mention the special holiday scholarship that we have available to anyone who's listening to this webinar. If you are interested, email us, or you can, in the Q&A, just send in your email address with this special code of 70,000 open positions. And when you send us that message by tonight at midnight, you're going to receive a $500 scholarship to one of our training programs. So the code to tell our advisors when you call in or email is 70,000 open positions in the field. We can see the demand is there. So we do have this holiday scholarship that's available. Okay, but moving along, can you explain really quickly, Jeannie, what is clinical research? What are we talking about here? What do you do as in clinical research?
So it's a research process where you're working with patients in a clinic. You're sometimes, most of the time, intervening with some sort of a treatment, a medication, a device, something to see what happens to a person. There are various phases involved. And so you're working at a site typically. When you're starting out, you're working with patients. This is my favorite part because you're building a relationship with these patients. I have mostly been with pediatrics, and so I've been able to work with the kids and their families and watch them grow up and have their own families on their own. And so it's kind of seeing what happens in this process on a one-on-one case basis. And so other people like me across the globe, across the US, are working on the same protocol or the same trial. And so all of this data is aggregated so that the sponsor can determine with statistical analyses if this is something that is powerful enough to be FDA approved.
FDA approved. I think that is the key to what we're talking about. These are FDA trials, and we're looking at new interventions, new treatments. And it could be medical devices, pharmaceuticals, surgeries, or other treatments that are changing and saving people's lives. So I wanted to ask everyone who's listening today, what is your interest in clinical research? Why did you tune in? And are you interested in getting in the field? And I'm sending out a poll which says, what's your number one reason for wanting to work in clinical research? So if you can all look at your poll and let me know, is it you want to advance medicine, help others? Maybe you want to make more money. Let me see if you can answer that poll. It looks like people are voting right now. Some people say they want to advance medicine. Some people, they want to be in a different sector of healthcare than what they want to be in. Oh, and here's one. I want to be in a career where there's rapid advancement. And a lot of people are in, jobs where they're in a dead-end job. And Lauren, can you speak a little bit about that and what the opportunities are for growth in this field? Uh-oh, you're on mute. No, Lauren, I can't hear you. Oh my gosh, there you are.
Because the field is growing so rapidly, there's a lot of upward mobility for people who get in and do a great job. And this is a field too where when you are doing good work, it doesn't go unnoticed. So for a lot of our students that we've seen come through our program, they move into an entry-level clinical research position, and often there's about a 90-day review. And we find that a lot of our students are getting promoted at that 90-day review or around about there. Some of them are getting promoted within the first 6 months or maybe the year. You know, of course, everyone's different. Every organization is different. But what we are finding are people are really getting promoted quite quickly, whether that's moving up at the site level or moving beyond the site level to the CRO or contract research organization level. In fact, we even have some folks who have moved on to sponsors. You know, it's really a field where the sky's the limit, as long as you get in and you do a good job.
Yeah,
That's the key.
there's a lot of opportunities. So we said that the 3 secrets are passion, practice, and then that third secret is people. And Jeannie, can you tell us more? What do we mean when we say people? What are we talking about? This is a funny slide with a lot of faces. What do we mean when we're talking about people to get in the industry?
So when we're talking about people, we're talking about our people at Fastrack. And so starting with our instructors who are all working professionals. They are not teaching every single day of every single month. These are working professionals in clinical research who are running all of their own respective trials at their sites. They're people from a lot of different sites. So some of them are from sites, some of them are from CROs, some of them are monitors, some of them are site managers. We have a good variety of people who are so passionate about what they do. They want to share it with our students and they want to help them be successful. We have mentorship. And so in our internship, these mentors who are helping our students, they are sharing the passion and sharing the tips and tricks of the trade. And so really, we connect our students with more than an education, but with people who are successful, because when you find good people and good talent, you want to keep them. And that kind of speaks to the promotion and rapid advancement that exists in this industry.
Wow, and thank you. So it's really the networking, just having the practice and the training. If you can't talk to anybody, if you train online, you don't meet anybody, you're not going to get in this field. You really need those connections. And Lauren and Jeannie and our whole team of instructors, we're providing those connections to help people get in the field. And I have a question for all of you who are listening. And after participating in this webinar, how many of you are interested in pursuing a career in clinical research? And I'm going to launch one more poll for you all. You know, some of you want to get into it right away, and some are maybe next year, in next couple of years, or maybe you're just interested in the field and you're happy with what you're doing already. So I'm just curious, how many of you want to get in the field right away? Oh wow, a lot of them are saying this year, and then a lot of them are looking at next year. But everyone seems to be very interested. All right, so please remember, we do have these scholarships available. And I think that's important. If you are interested in learning more about what we're doing and the possibility of getting into this field using those 3 secrets of passion, practice, and people, please contact us. And remember to use the code webinar70000. If you call or email us before midnight tonight, you'll be eligible for that $500 scholarship. In addition to, we do have other scholarships available as well. What I wanted to do now is open it up to some questions of the audience, because I know a lot of you have questions. Some of you have chatted them in, but if you go to the Q&A section, you can ask a question of us. And the first question that everyone's always asking is Lauren, how long is this training program? And how long does it take to get through the whole thing? Uh-oh, you're on mute again, Lauren. There you are. Hi, Lauren.
Sounds happening outside my window, so I keep muting myself. You know, it takes just about 4 weeks to complete the whole 228-hour training course. So we really operate on this premise of immersion learning or mass practice, where for those 228 hours over that month, you are immersed in clinical research. What that really works to do is at the end of the month, you come out speaking clinical research. you can fluently and effortlessly and with confidence talk about that informed consent process, talk about how to report an SAE, talk about how to document properly according to Alcoa C. You know ICH GCP 6R2, and you know 21 CFR 50, and you know all of these things because you have been immersed in it. And not only have you learned the didactics, but really you have practiced it. So you can speak about it with confidence because you've done it before.
Okay, that's a great point. It's a 4-week program, but then the question is, Beth is asking this question, how long is the gap from training to getting a job? And I'd love to take this one myself because typically our students are taking about 2 to 3 months to get a job after our program. And that's so important because other people who might even take a 1 to 2 year master's program or a year-long certificate program, they're not even starting their job search for a whole year. If you take our program, you can complete it in 4 or 5 weeks. And then within a month to 3 months, most of our students are landing a job after finishing the program. Now, Jeannie, some students are landing jobs faster. How are they getting the jobs so quickly?
So I love this because some students just are really go-getters and they put themselves out there. They are like from day one when I meet them in the classroom, they're showing up early, they're engaged, they're asking really great questions. They are connecting already with our instructors and with one another. They really shine in internship. I feel like these are the people who really are persistent, and I think that really matters. And whereas I have some people, they're great candidates, don't get me wrong, but they for sure maybe take a seat back and let someone else make the first move.
All right, so we talked about passion and practice, but part of the practice is going out there and actually applying to a job. The job doesn't just come to you while you're sitting on your couch having your coffee. You actually have to go out and apply. But if you're out there in front of the hiring managers and networking through our network, people are finding jobs very quickly. I always like telling the story of our student who she went through that process, and while she was in her internship in her hometown, she started applying to jobs, and she had 3 interviews before the program was even over. We're getting a lot of questions about, do you have a class in Atlanta? Do you have a class in Seattle? Where can I take my next class in my hometown? And here's the nice thing about that. Well, first of all, Lauren, you're going to be teaching a class in Atlanta starting next week. Isn't that right?
Starting Sunday, actually.
Sunday, excellent. And then someone else was asking about when we're in Dallas. We're in Dallas in December. We are, another person asked about Seattle. The nice thing is you can do your 2-week internship right there in Seattle. We have another week of the program that you do online, and you can be in Seattle for that. But the actual 8 days of training is at one of our training centers. So Atlanta is one of the spots right there where Lauren is. Jeannie is in Scottsdale, Arizona, where she trains our group there. We're going to be in Dallas, Texas. And we're also going to be going to other locations. But I highly recommend that you don't wait, that you travel to one of these locations. It's only 1 week out of your life, 8 days. The rest you can do from your hometown. We have one last question, and that is, again, about the cost of the program. Can you, Jeannie, let everyone know, compared to, say, a master's program or a certificate program that takes much longer to get in the field, what is the cost of our program?
So the cost of our program is $9,750 compared to my master's program of $50,000. The great thing about our program is that we have very minimal, but of course we still have to have qualifiers to get you into the program. For my master's program, you had to exhibit some work experience in clinical research. And so I know sometimes people get really frustrated when they hear about not being able to get their master's. This is a great solution. It's a very accelerated program. It's an intense program, but it's so incredible to see these students really understand research. The analogy that I really like to give is that I took 6 years of French, and it basically looked like 3 hours a week, a little bit of homework, an essay here and there. After I graduated from college, I had friends who traveled and studied abroad for about a month, and they came back with more knowledge, speaking French very well, with the perfect intonation accent, and even slang. And so there's something about having a very intense accelerated program like Fastrack so that you can really solidly know what you are learning and applying and can actually use on the job right away.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. And Jeannie, I wanted to put this slide up there because we had another question about what type of roles am I going to get? And there are so many positions our graduates are moving into. Many of them are moving into clinical research coordinator or clinical research assistant, but they move into data management positions. They move into site manager roles. And there's so many different roles that open up once you enter this field. So it's a really exciting field. This slide shows many of the other roles that you could be in, from clinical scientist to business development to research assistant. And it's such an exciting field. So I think our time is almost up. I wanted to remind everyone that if they call today before midnight, and if we can't answer because we're too busy, or if it's after hours, just leave a message with your name and your contact info and the code, which is Holiday Scholarships, webinar, 70,000 open positions. So if you just say that you were participating in this webinar, you'll be eligible for that $500 holiday scholarship. And once again, you can email us at contact@clinicalresearchfasttrack.com. Call us. And Lauren, I want to thank you so much for taking your time today, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Jeannie, who's in the Phoenix area of Arizona. It's such a pleasure to have you, to work with you. And I think the biggest joy is really helping so many of our graduates move into the field and contribute to the field of clinical research.
I just have one final comment. So we just got VA approval. So for anyone who might be watching or listening, any veterans and their families, there's tuition monies that can be paid from those funds. And so I would love to have any veterans come join us in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's just, you fly into Phoenix and we're just about 30 minutes away. There is also a question about certification after the training. People who finish the program, they're called graduates, and those graduates receive a certificate that shows how many hours they completed from our program. And we definitely have some student mentors who would be willing to talk to you about their experience in the program. If you're interested in that, go ahead and shoot an email, maybe in the webinar chat or in the Q&A. That would be better, the Q&A. I would love to meet you, talk to you some more. We have advisors who would love to help you. This isn't for everyone, you guys, but if we can help just one of you, I'm excited to raise a whole new generation of researchers who can help me expedite research and bring better products to our market. So have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Lauren. And thanks for all of you participating in our webinar today. And once again, our phone number is 800-610-3171. And we look forward to speaking with you and helping more people move into the field of clinical research. And most importantly, we're helping conduct these trials that are leading to treatments that are changing and improving people's lives. So thank you again, and we look forward to hearing from you all.